What's up, guys? So it's been a while since I've talked any of the politics that's been going on, but I thought today is definitely a day. People who have voice, people who like to speak on these topics, should come out and speak because what's going on in our country right now is just absolutely asinine. To disgrace to what we stand for, disgrace to people, especially minority people, um, people who have voted and have elected Joe Biden to be our next president. And we have these KKK members, white supremacists, white nationalist people who feel that the election, with no evidence of fraud, um, has been stolen for them. So much so that on this day, they decide to go into the Capitol building and do whatever they felt like is necessary in terms of breaching the Capitol building, which, if you look back in June at some of those pictures as to how when they tried to breach the Capitol building, there was no shot that was going to happen with the officers on the perimeter, and how they wouldn't allow those people to enter. And now you see people breaking windows, and there's videos and pictures of people getting in, specifically into these areas in the Capitol, breaking windows, getting into the chamber, and sitting. I saw pictures of people sitting at desks of congressmen, people just laughing and mocking inside the actual place where they were supposed to be holding the electoral college, the official declaration of Joe Biden being the president, counting those votes. And you just saw the protests and the people who were allowed to be able to do something like this that just upends our democracy. And it's not a good look for America as a whole. All the other countries are laughing at us. And it's just a shame to see how we have enabled this. I said that white supremacists, they are upheld by the police. The police and the justice system is designed to protect those people. You can even see in one of these clips here how they open.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go. And they just breached the Capitol again.
Open the gate for for some of these people to come in and infiltrate the Capitol. It's just a disgrace to our country and a disgrace to everything that we stand for that these events have gone on the way they've gone on. We know that there was one woman who unfortunately lost her life, and then you have people saying how when she was part of the protesting group in the Capitol, in the actual building, and she's the only casualty that I've been heard of. The amount of tear gassing and macing and rubber bullets and actual bullets that have been emptied from the clip of the law enforcement officers in this case just pales in comparison to the amount of people who are fighting for justice and the equality of black people after the George Floyd protests in June. It just goes to show you how the value of a black person's life, or a minority person's life, I should say in general, is just not valued as high as a white person's life. And the privilege and entitlement that white people have is something that we really need to address in our country, because everybody knows that if this was a Black Lives Matter protest, this would never have gone nearly a tenth as far as it did today. And the fact that I was able to go this far showcases that discrepancy in how the two different groups are treated, and a lot of people that were able to enter fighting with police who aren't even using batons or using their pepper spray like they've used before. It's really just a disgrace. Then you have the tweet from Donald J. Trump. It's really amazing to see how we've shifted from, in 2016, there was a lot of people who said they wanted some amount of change without considering the consequences of that said change and who would be that person in power. And electing Donald Trump to be this 45th president of the United States goes to show you that you really need to do a proper analysis of when you enable people to hold such high positions of influence and power. And it's just sad to see that even though he tweeted whatever he tweeted here, respect law and order and all that stuff, we know that he doesn't care about law and order when it comes to upholding the dystopian values that he believes in. You know, he's not a favor of order. He wants his people to riot and his people to protest because he feels like the election was stolen repeatedly without any evidence. Continually has been knocked down in court. Case after court case has denied that. That phone call with the Georgia official, who's just didn't understand what he was saying about the machines and how he needs 11,780 votes or something around that figure, and how he just got shot down there. And he's like just begging and whining for the democratic system that we have to just somehow be magically changed in his favor. And you have to realize that only a guy like this guy is a dictator, this guy is a fascist, and he's enabled a lot of people and built such a strong base that it's becoming to hurt the sanctity of our democracy and our democratic republic as we know it. And that was showcased here today in a way that I didn't think it would be. You have people like Kelly Loeffler, who fortunately, very fortunately, was defeated by the great Reverend Raphael Warnock last night. And she, before the election occurred, said that she was going to object to the results of the presidential election. And she lost because she was using that as a way to garner support in hopes to win. But people just didn't view that as something that they valued enough to get her the position, and she's deciding now to go back and object. And even if you see here her objecting and Trump saying the tweets to be peaceful and stuff like that, it's all just trying to, it's all for nothing. It's all words. They don't really care about the democracy or the judicial process. They just care about enriching themselves, their own entitlement, and getting what they want. And they realize the optics of this may not be the best thing, so now they're trying to do damage control, but the damage has already been done, you know? You already broke the pipe, you know? This isn't a simple leak you can patch with duct tape anymore now. This is a fully broken pipe, and you're not getting water to any portion of your house now, you know? You can see here the police just guiding this woman down the steps. And like I just see in this video here, I'll show some of this clip how these people just get into the Capitol system and how they're reporting and how they have no worry or concern, you know? That's probably the biggest thing.
Hill police officers, this was a losing battle.
This is exactly what was feared, but in no way is this a surprise. It has been fueled by the president's rhetoric, and it's increasingly clear this election has not healed the wounds. It has simply amplified them.
That I see is that there's no worry, there's no concern. They just have the ability to go ahead and do this riot. This isn't a protest, anything short of peaceful. It just goes ahead to show how these people don't really care because they don't have to care, because they know at the end of the day the system supports them in what they're doing. They have a president who supports them in what they're doing, and they don't really need to have any sort of they don't really need to be fearful of the repercussions of what they're doing just because of the system that upholds a person like them being white, enabling them to do that. Like I said, a person of my skin color, people of Hispanic race, people of Asian race, or ethnicity, I'm sorry if I got that wrong, wouldn't be able to do anything like this ever, just because there's a certain amount of like, oh, it's the black people doing this, it's Hispanic people doing this, this is bad, we need to take it seriously. A government that spends, what is it, $900 billion, $750 billion a year, something like that, something crazy like that, can't properly secure their capital during a process that's supposed to bring us our next president. If that doesn't sound crazy to you, then I don't know what else to say. We put all this money into the military, and yet we can't secure our Capitol building from a couple thousand domestic terrorists, rioters. It really doesn't make sense to me, and the only answer for that is, like in that clip I showed you, them opening gates. There's an enablement. There's a sense of complicity. They're complicit in the act of these people to go ahead and try and overturn this election. And just in short, the last thing I'll say on this topic is just that the election process that we had, you had Donald Trump lose in the numbers that he lost to Joe Biden in an election that was fair and free. And the people who continue to spew that it wasn't fair and free, Donald Trump at the head of this, and then you have some of these senators, and it trickles down all the way to normal citizens who are Trumpers forever. It's just really, really dangerous because there's a lot of people who will take whatever these top guys say and run with it. They present no evidence. That's one thing that we as a country are always, when you go to court and you go to law, you need to have some sort of evidence before when you have a claim made, you need evidence to back up that claim. And people running with the election being stolen, the election being fraudulent without presenting us with evidence, because we know that they can't present us with it, it's not even necessary for them now. All they have to do is just say it's stolen and it's fraudulent, and look at how many people go ahead and believe that, to the point where we almost have a coup in our hands. It's a disgrace to our country, and we really need to, in this 2021, discourse in order. And things can't just be said in a way that's haphazard and that's dangerous to our country. Things need to be said that are factual, that are correct, using empirical data and evidence. And then, based on that evidence that we have, yes, you can make different distinctions based on that, but you can't be spewing different conjectures that have no basis or no claim. And it's just something that we've continually seen time and time again, and it's something that with Donald Trump has become very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's become very, very prominent in our society. There's a good core group of people who just hold on to that, and this is why something like this would happen. But the election was not stolen. Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, congratulations to them. Democrats get control of the Senate once we get these votes processed into the system, or however they go ahead and do it. And Kamala Harris, Joe Biden will be the next VP and President of the United States of America come January 20th. And there's nothing that anyone did today or anyone could do in the future to deny that that's going to be the case. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And people who do believe that, that's a shame on you for thinking that we had an election that wasn't fraudulent. We had an election, that was fraudulent, because that's just simply not the case. And I challenge anyone who doesn't believe that this is a fair election to bring forth the evidence and prove it. And you won't be able to do that, because it's completely blasphemous and it's completely egregious, and you have no basis for that claim. So yeah, as a country, we need to move forward, and we need to use evidence and empirical data to make decisions that we make. And to have the beliefs, you need to have those beliefs that are set in empirical and factual claims, and not just based on feelings and based on, oh, because my guy lost, I feel like I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's a shame, and I just can't allow things like this to continue to happen in our society. And people need to speak up. People need to put the voices that need to be heard so that people can know what people they should be listening to. Because a guy like Donald Trump should never have ever been in the position that he was to be president of the United States of America for 4 years. And because he was in that position, we're going to have a after effect that we're going to have to rectify in these next 8 to 12 years of these people who truly believe in his dystopian ideology. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.